Hang in there, it is!
Smylie Kaufman for 61. Wow.
I'm Smylie Kaufman, and this is The Smylie Show.
Smylie, who would have thought, man? We are back. We are all the way back. We are at T-Bonz in Augusta, Georgia for the second straight year. This is a momentous occasion for many reasons. The first is that this is the first recurring host of a Smylie show at a major championship. How's it feel to be back?
Well, now when we show up, it feels like we're coming down Magnolia Lane. This is like our own Magnolia Lane here at T-Bonz. And this
might be Magnolia Lane Light right back here. And you may or may not see a number of cars driving throughout the entirety of the show.
You know, I was just sitting here thinking, this is year 2. And I'm just forecasting 8 years into the future where we're year 10 into this whole thing. And there's going to be a crowd. People are going to be out watching. It's going to be live. And we're going to laugh back at this time where we got 2 buddies out back here watching. We got Jax.
Right, we have a crowd.
Shout out to some friends back there. So, yeah, I mean, it's Augusta National. It's the Masters. This is our big show. And let's get right into it, man. I'm excited.
We have so much to unpack. That's of course tournament golf related, but also that's just developments in I guess the greater Masters content sphere. This place we got to start is we've been here for 2 days, and somehow you've made a merch run. And I have not made a merch run. I'm being called the gnome guy. Smiley's introduced me to people as the gnome guy, and yet you got merch before I got merch this year.
All right,
comment.
If you guess the dollar amount within $50, I will order fireball shots.
Okay. Do I get to know how many people you were shopping for? Was it just your family?
This was the question.
All right.
Yes, family.
Just your family?
Yeah, just family. And my family, yeah.
What do you mean your family? Your parents? Lucky? Was there anyone in there for Lucky?
Yeah, they were involved.
Oh, well, that changes the math. All right, I'm going to say $9.25. Did I get it?
So close.
Fireball shots.
When you originally said that 8, I was like, oh my gosh, we're about to have to do this. It was 8:15.
8:15.
You were about to say 8 something. What were you about to say?
I was thinking about 8:50, and I went 9:25.
Oh my God, that would have done
it. That's a tough scene, but that's pretty good. That's like,
it's a lot of it's Christmas. Don't judge me. It's a big number. I know.
No, that's what people do. Like, I mean, that's actually getting out pretty light.
I got a good hat. I'm not normally like a big Augusta National hat guy. When I get in there, I actually typically stray away from getting a hat. But this one caught my eye, and it's like not too poofy, Like the poof isn't quite as bad.
It really suits you. I can't wait to get in there. Yeah, like if we were playing Price is Right, Augusta National Edition, I might be the best player at that in the entire world.
It took me 30 to 35 minutes to get into the merch thing. I finally get in there.
Tuesday's a tough day.
And so all the kids like girl stuff, it really just, wasn't doing it for me. So I eventually made the play to not go with the dress, and I see this sweater, and I knew it wasn't going to fit her, but I thought, you know what, she'll wear something kind of big in a sweater, so I went that route instead of like trying to guess right on the dress. And got a puzzle, we got a deck of cards, and kind of just like clothes.
I can't wait to get in there to shop for Walker and for baby girl Katic. I actually need to get your notes on girl dad stuff. Like, there's some nice bows. Walker is Augusta's his favorite logo. It's the only logo he can correctly identify. He just sleeps on an Augusta blanket every night. So I'm just going to deck him out in some polos. But let me tell you, Smylie, the reason why I haven't merched it is because I was out there being a Big J journalist. I got for a moment, I got addicted to asking questions in press conferences.
Is that kind of intimidating, that whole thing?
I think it was for a while, and I think today I decided to face my fears, and then once I dove in, it was like, it's like
karaoke.
Like surfing or something.
Now you put your name back in for the next song.
Yeah, let me do another one. How
many times did you script the question out in your head for the first question?
You really gotta kind of like say in your head like 5 or 6 times. You want to make sure you hit that. And then the hardest one is like, if someone snipes your question, you have to be ready to go with the backup. I actually, I was asking Scottie Scheffler a question today. I had one loaded up. I was in the queue, and I was going to ask about something he said in the Every Hole at Augusta National video. And so he's in there, and he kind of sounds stuffy. Scottie does a little bit. And so, Jimmy Roberts, like legendary broadcaster. So he's sitting next to me, and he goes like, hey, do you think he sounds sick? Right as the Augusta National member's like, Charlie. And I'm like, oh, Scottie, and trying to find my question. So Jimmy Roberts is in the middle of bumping me and asking me, do we think Scottie Scheffler is sick? And I'm about to tell him, I think it's like everyone else this time of year. It's probably just pollen and rain. And then I get called on for my question. But I got it off, though. It was good. It was good. I asked Scottie 2 questions, had a couple for Ludwig. I got shut out on Bryson. That was kind of a bummer. I was really excited.
What were you going to ask him?
I was going to ask him about the impact of content creation on his psyche on the golf course. It was like a really good rehearsed question I had in my brain.
Okay. Rehearse it. Go.
Yeah. Well, it's gone now. I had a notepad in front of me. I can't do it anymore. But, so I think we can get into my big day journalism. We can get into, individual players, which we should talk about some odds. But here's where we got to start, Smylie. And it's once again with our good friends at Ahead, who, as we told you on our last show, we're looking forward to them presenting analysis of each of these events, of each of these golf courses, of each of these player-caddy relationships for the months to come. So we're super excited about that. So this is, I think we might have used this segment before, but we're going to do a reintroduction, a debut of the Think, Plan, Move segment. And that segment's going to be about analyzing the golf course ahead, how you can think about it, how you can, plan for it. And so Ahead is a just yeah, dude, this is a tough scene for us, dude. So Ahead is a strategic partner for enterprise clients, helping them navigate the path toward digital transformation. Much like an expert caddy, reading the course ahead and providing the winning combination of technology and execution. Ahead takes end-to-end accountability with their comprehensive blend of strategic consulting and transformation services and takes a bias toward action, helping clients achieve more with less. Learn more at ahead.com.
Bada bing, bada boom.
So the Think, Plan, Move segment, we're talking about a course, Augusta National, that's changed considerably in this last year. Hurricane Helene came through it, did a lot of damage, lost a lot of trees. We have that to talk about, and a number of players were asked about that in their press conference the past couple days,
right,
and gave their opinions on lines of sight, things like that. We also have the more immediate impacts of the weather. We had rain all day Monday. It looks like we have rain on Friday. So where are you right now in terms of, the way the course is playing, both in the short term and just in the long term, with these trees being gone?
Everything that I'd heard about the golf course coming in was that it's as firm and as good a shape as it's ever been in. That was before yesterday, where it literally rained the entire day. It didn't stop. It was, I bet they probably got 3 or so inches. I don't know if you have a number, but that's kind of what we were guessing last night, just based off how much rain it felt like we got. As far as how it affected the golf course today, of course, it was softer. And talking with a couple players, they said it's as slow as they've ever seen the golf course play from a green perspective that they've ever seen. So when you take that into consideration, you're like, okay, how fast can they get this golf course firm? And how can you get golf courses firm? Well, typically you need dry weather, you need wind, and you definitely need really good summer air, which guess what? Augusta National's got a lot of good irrigation. So that they're going to be doing everything from their side to be able to suck all the moisture out. But the green speeds being this slow on a Tuesday, it kind of just makes you think, how fast can they actually get them for a Thursday? Are we going to see kind of a bunch of leaderboards on Thursday with some lower scores? I think that's possible. And then when you talk about the trees, I thought it was really interesting in the press conference today. Jon Rahm, I thought, had probably one of the best quotes, and you were there. You could probably give the quote the best.
Yeah, well, I had to laugh because he said that someone had asked him about, tree removal, and obviously a lot of people are talking about the left side of 10, just the way those sidelines are different. And he said an unnamed player suggested to him that you could take a high cut over the cabins on the left side of 10, just cut it back in over the tops of those trees into the right to left shade pull. And John said, There's just no way. And so if Jon Rahm can't do it, I'll take his word. I don't think anybody who likes to work the golf ball left to right can achieve that feat.
Well, I've always looked at it. For somebody who hits a left to right shot, that wasn't always my most comfortable tee shot on 10. And I found it interesting too. Some of the the trees obviously going down. I mean, this place got it was catastrophic what happened to this whole area. Driving around, it's insane. Just every street you go down, the amount of trees that you can see that have been cut in half or just are scarce in some areas. And how it affects the golf course. Well, I think sight lines and targets are going to be maybe a little bit different than normal. There might be some things that stick out for players, like the 10th hole. You can really see a TV tower that really wasn't there before.
Yes.
That now is going to be a sight line for a guy. So just hearing that, it definitely makes you think from a player side. There's going to be it'll be a little different, and maybe guys might catch a break or two with a little less trees. And I think one of some of the trees that are the most iconic are when you're sitting on top of the hill at 15, and you always just see those trees behind the green that are right at 16. Those trees are gone. Mm-hmm. So it's just going to look a little different on TV this year, I think.
Do you think it favors a certain type of player? Because I was talking to Paul Uggetti of ESPN about this, where maybe there's a world in which if the course is softer than it plays normal, does that favor a guy that's an incredible iron player, a good ball striker, like a Collin Morikawa, like a Will Zalatoris, who can hit it really close and not have to worry as much about a ton of wind or firmness like we've seen in past years, and then it kind of negates. If you're an above average putter for the week, you can win the tournament.
Yeah, and I think one of the to answer your question, Augusta National is all about experience. Can first timers win here? It's been done before. Does it mean that first timer can't compete? It was proven untrue last year with Ludwig Oberg. So this course is all about how you score on the par fives. If you go out and play the par fives even par, very few guys have won the golf tournament doing that. I think Danny Willett was the only guy to play the par fives even or worse and still win the golf tournament, which we don't talk about 2016. I don't even know why I brought it up. So one of my favorite guys to really see on Twitter, as far as just different ways to look at how this, these players are going to compete on this place. Ron Kloss does a really good job on Twitter with really good information.
And PJ Splits 101.
And I think his takeaways are really, really solid. Just saying that the course experience matters, of course. A long shot winner is improbable. So those two things we've already just talked about. Recent winning experience is significant. So we could talk about that here in a moment with some of these top players. An elite putter is not required. I think that's a really good tidbit because you don't have to be a great putter to win this tournament. What you need to be good at is being a very good lag putter.
Yeah.
Not three putting, but also being very good inside of 10 feet. And you're going to have so many putts inside of 6 to 8 feet for birdie on par fives, and then also those same putts on par fours and par threes for par that you're going to have to make. Obviously, you're playing on a lot of different elevation as far as a lot of different lies, something that's probably not talked about enough. When it comes to Augusta National is being very creative, and that's why guys like Jordan Spieth, we talked to Ben Crenshaw the other day, super creative players. And then the last part, it's a bomber's paradise, and I tend to agree there with you can find a Ben Crenshaw, or not a Ben Crenshaw, but a Bryson DeChambeau. Sorry, I've had the bees going, but I think that's a good starting list of what it takes to compete at Augusta National.
Dylan DeChair asked this question of Nikolai Højgaard today, and I don't know if he was quoting. I think he was quoting last year's stats, or I don't know. If it's probably last year, not all time, but just saying that the par 4 scoring average was 4.2, and the par 5 scoring average was 4.6. And post to Nikolai was just saying, it's very obvious where you have to do your work on this golf course.
Yeah,
I thought that was even interesting watching that Scottie every hole video where you're looking at his lifetime score to par. And you keep going through par fours, and it's even, over par. And then you get to one of the par fives, and it's 20 under. It's it's very clear what his formula was, and it's worked twice.
It's risk that you have to take on certain holes. You know that the first hole, there's only a one pin there that you can ever really feel like you can make a birdie to. The rest of the time you're playing for par. Where 2, you have to make a birdie. 3, you have to play it aggressively. I think so many players used to lay up on the third hole. Now you see that the data says it doesn't matter. Push it up. If you can clear the bunkers off the tee, hit driver, push it up, and your best chance of hitting the green is going to be from closer to the hole. And there's other instances of this golf course, but at some point you're gonna have to stand up and hit a shot on a Sunday, but for the most part, you just need to babysit yourself, not get yourself into trouble. Make sure you avoid double bogeys, take care of the par fives, and understand where you have to play aggressive on this course.
So let's start digging into the favorites in this tournament. We'll just start right at the top of the board. Scottie Scheffler on DraftKings Sportsbook right now is outright odds to win are plus 400 or 4-1. Here's my Big J journalist report. Asked him a question, as mentioned, was almost interrupted by Jimmy Roberts about his insistence throughout that entire video of every hole that, being in the fairway is the most important thing. And he kind of talked about how as you graduate further and further away from the fairway, you still have chances to score, but he thought it's very fair in that, it's, the best place scores from the fairway, then the next place is the first cut and the second cut, so on and so forth. You get in the woods.
First cut's not an issue here.
Right.
It's not. There's not a ton of it. It's not really a part of the storyline. This place is, it's wide enough to where fairways should be. Guys should hit 10 fairways around.
The other Big J journalist question I asked is confirming that Bennett, his son Bennett, is a size 12 to 18. And that he will not be doing any merchandising on Bennett's behalf. Meredith will take care of all that this week. So that's my other question I asked. So let's talk about Scottie. If we're
can you imagine just Scottie just being in the merch tent, just being like everybody else, so in line, just
where are the gnomes?
That would be shocking. Yeah. Being in there, if any player was walking around, you would think to yourself. Man, this is the Masters. Nobody's got privileges out here.
It wouldn't shock me for a guy like Scottie to be in there doing his own merchandise shopping, but he very much not something he wants to do. Yeah, no. The other thing was he sounded a little stuffy, and he was asked a number of times if he was sick. He assured everyone it was just some sort of a allergy situation.
Pollen allergies here.
So it sounds like he's in a pretty, was asked a number of times about comparisons to Rory. I felt like all of his answers were pretty well measured, standard Scottie, nothing crazy to see there. Where do you feel like his game is at this year where we know what he's capable of and he maybe hasn't lived up to that? He was even asked about that. And he said, he gave an example of in Houston where the 62 he shot, he was like, I had a lot of work to do after that round. The next day I only shot 1 or 2 under par, and I felt like it was pretty complete. It's like, I think it's just, he's got all the tools there, and he's obviously the same player he was, just kind of clicking into place, getting the right brace, and winning a golf tournament.
Well, I thought the most important thing you said today, and if you're, trying to make an assumption of can Scottie win this golf tournament, I thought the most important thing he said in his interview is this is the most prepared I've been for an event this entire year. So when you hear that, you think to yourself, okay, Scottie Scheffler is going to be near the top of the leaderboard, not worried about him playing poorly. And I think he's been gradually improving throughout the year. The ball striking's been better. The putter was good at the beginning of the year. So you just think to yourself, he's obviously got success at this place. And I'd be shocked if he didn't play really well and have a chance to win.
Scottie Scheffler has a great track record of once he starts playing good at a place, he usually does not stop playing good at that place. And this is one of the places he plays best.
Dude, he has a chance to win his 3rd green jacket. It's rarefied air. Winning his 2nd green jacket is so solidifying for a man's career, and he's already done it twice. And when you think about that 3rd one, he's going to be entering rarefied air.
How do you? Maybe this is a little bit of a detour, but what does that do for his legacy? Having won 3 majors very quickly out of the gate, but they're all Masters. He hasn't really diversified in the other major. If he ends up down the road with 10 majors, but 6 of them are Augusta National, what do you make of his legacy at that point?
Well, I guess there's no guarantee that he'll ever win another major, but you feel like with how good he is, he's going to have so many opportunities to win so many more majors. And I think if he gets a 3rd Masters, we always look at this event in a different light of how many green jackets a player has.
Yeah.
When you think about Jack Nicklaus's 6 green jackets, it just feels like such a large number, right? And if he gets to 3, man, this quick, and in 3 out of 4 years, it's it's probably not being talked about enough.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, dude. We just had a dope Chevy work truck pull up. And it's got all the trimmings, all the lights. I'm loving the ambiance.
We got extra lighting now, don't we?
I am loving everything about what's happening right now. It's actually it's a shame. It's a kind of a cold night out here, as you can see. We're a little bundled up. There's a lot of action going on inside T-Bonz right now.
Shout out T-Bonz.
Yeah, shout out T-Bonz, man. This place has been a great host, and we're looking forward to continuing to come back.
This isn't an ad, but it's an ad.
It's not.
We love
not an ad.
T-Bonz.
We just love T-Bonz, and I can't wait to wrap this up so we can get inside and hang with those boys in there. Rory McIlroy going off at plus 650, 6.5 to 1. I did not make it to his presser in time. I thought I made it on time. I was a little bit late. I thought he had some interesting thoughts about just his psyche after losing big events and just being accepting of that sort of state of mind, not getting too high or too low. You know, I think there's been a lot made of every year Rory comes to Augusta National, just this huge burden we place on him. Some years he's leaning into it and he's so honored to be here in this place he wants to play the rest of his life. Other years he's changed his routine, he's showing up late, he doesn't want to talk to anyone about it. It's felt like he was really bearing the weight of not having won. But I did feel like there was a sort of sense of calm today, or a sense of just acceptance of where he's
that's a good point.
as he makes it here.
I think it's natural for the media to kind of overblow the Rory thing every single year, chasing a Grand Slam at the Masters, and we always talk about that hook at the 10th hole like it was yesterday. It was so long ago. He's a completely different player today than he was however many years ago that was. What year was that? I mean, it was 2000.
Yeah. It was like
8?
14 years. Yeah.
10? I don't know what it was.
We're not a golf history pod, apparently. In Collin Morikawa's press conference today, I believe it was Doug Ferguson asked Collin like a series of trivia questions like, hey, do you know who won the 1986 Masters?
2011.
2011.
Okay, that was in 2011. We're right in the middle. 2008, 2014.
So he asked Collin whether he knew who won the 1986 Masters, and Collin was like,
come on.
I don't really know, but I was in there. I was trying to look at all the years that Jack Nicklaus won it, like the 72, 76, all these. I think he had some of the years wrong. They're like, 1986, like his most famous win of all time. Oh, okay. Yeah, so that was a fun deal. I mean,
just get back to your answer or the question with Rory. I couldn't agree with you more. I think acceptance is the great place to start. I think his mental makeup heading into the week is probably the most important part of Rory showing up and whether he'll be able to compete or not. The physical tools are there. I think when he plays poorly here, it's much more of a mental battle. Like today, even watching, he didn't have a swing instructor on the range. He's got Bob Rotella there, trying to have the right mental frame of mind. And the other thing you mentioned is like he's watching Bridgerton with his wife Erica, and he's also reading a novel right now.
Had a great question about a novel.
And if anybody is reading a novel and watching a show, they're pretty like lax.
They're pretty chill.
I think anybody can kind of relate to that. Not saying that this means like he feels amazing about his game, but I mean, one of the stats I just talked about was heading into the Masters is have you won? What's your form? And guess what? We've talked about this. Rory McIlroy's been the best player in the world this year. If you're taking your own OWGR 2025, Rory McIlroy, I think, would be the favorite. And so with all that being said, I think we look back to that 2011 year too much. He's competed here plenty of times, and I think the last piece I'll say is that he referenced back to 2019 and says that after that major season, in a year in which he actually won the FedEx Cup, he won 4 times, he mentioned that I didn't play well in the majors that year, and I just didn't put enough emphasis on it as much as I should have. And he said, if you look back at my major record since 2019, you would see that the major record was really, really good. I know he hasn't won yet, but he's put himself in contention a lot. So when you hear Rory say that those sorts of things, you hear he's kind of relaxed, the mental makeup seems to be there. Gosh, I'm buying into the storyline with Rory this week.
I think it's.
Is this guy's car lights ever going to go off?
I don't think this guy's car light's ever going to go off. I'm actually curious if.
Let's give it another minute or two, because then we might have to say, hey, you need to go turn your lights off.
Well, yeah. I mean, his battery might die.
It's a battery night,
unless he's got like the best battery of all time, which this would be another excellent unpaid commercial for Chevrolet. It's at the rate they're going. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, he's got a set of powerful lights. I'm ready to buy into the Rory McIlroy hype a little bit this year. I think more so just because it seems like of all the years he's arrived here, this is the most accepting he is of where he's at in his total situation. And to your point, he's in great form. He's playing great golf. He did have a great girl dad question at the end of the interview.
Dad,
so
are you
good.
famous?
Yeah.
That's what you ask.
Bobby's just starting to learn that her dad's famous, thanks to the kids at her school asking about the Players Championship. So let's go next to
push-up contest going back.
Is there a push-up contest behind us?
We were hula hooping a couple years ago.
Yeah, Smylie hula hoop.
Push up here.
It was amazing. The next player on my list, on the DraftKings Sportsbook, Jon Rahm going off 13-1. And this is one that I do not know how to make sense of, because we talked about his major year, 3 of the 4 majors pretty forgettable last year, but then comes out of the wrong wave in the Open Championship and still finishes T7. And you were having trouble focusing on Jon Rahm's major performance last year.
Ripping push-ups behind us.
Because you were more focused on a guy doing push-ups behind us.
How many has he done, Jax?
Okay.
Is that like, he's on 25 right now.
And he's hopping off the ground. I mean, this is truly impressive stuff.
Mackerel. With that being said, with Jon Rahm, I got something for you.
This is what you get at T-Bonz. You get every piece of the Augusta nightlife. You get a little bit of Jon Rahm talk, major season talk, but you also get a little bit of push-ups in the background.
Hey, Jackson, we have Taco Bell in the frame.
We don't have Taco Bell in the frame. Yeah,
because that would have really tied it all in.
That really brought the whole thing together. We might end up there later this week.
Well, I got something for you on Rahm.
Yeah, please.
So the 2 takeaways from his press conference today. He really would say that last year, the major season, he feels like he was judged unfairly. I tend to disagree. That was the one thing we were always going to judge him on, was does the LIV Golf Tour prepare you to play in majors?
Still never finished outside the top 10 on the LIV event.
So that's what he did say. He said, I pride myself on consistency, and I feel like I've been very consistent on the LIV Golf Tour. I think he's only won one time where we felt like he was going to win a lot more than that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. We're not a golf history pod. But with that being said, I thought the most interesting question that was asked today with Jon Rahm was, do you know where you rank in the official world golf rankings right now? He's like, have I dropped out of the top 100 yet? You could tell he's like very bothered by not being relevant. Yeah. Relevant in the fact that people don't talk to him in the same vein that we talk about Scottie Scheffler, that we talked about Rory. It's just, we just don't talk about Jon Rahm. And I think it bothers him. I really do. And I think he's looking to make a statement this week. He's obviously he considers himself a top 10 player in the world. He said it today. You can't disagree with it. I think he's a top 5 talent in the world. Will we see him have a really good major season? I think we will. The one thing I know, I've said this multiple times, I think Doral being the week before Augusta National is going to bode well for the LIV guys this year. That's a very, very tough golf course. They don't typically play very difficult courses. And I really feel... Wrong car. I was
hoping that guy was going to that car.
But I really do feel like that he's going to... the LIV guys will have decent weeks, because that is a PGA Tour proven, very difficult golf course that I think prepares you maybe for Augusta.
Yeah, I think so too. I love also that as you were just scaling up the final, part of the ladder that was the point you were making on Jon Rahm and Doral, we were just really hoping that guy was going to open up the truck with the big lights. And instead, he was opening up another pickup truck. So on we go. On we soldier with the lights on us. We are back on the Smylie Show. As you might have noticed, we not only do we get the lights turned off on the Chevrolet pickup truck, we got a nice little conversation off camera with the gentleman who did. And he kicked over some beers and he took them, and we gave him maybe the best futures bets of all time.
That's right.
So, I mean, if those hit, I'm going to be keeping an eye on that one the rest of the week. Actually, it's a perfect segue, because I want to transition to another guy who I heard speak today. He was the 4th shortest odds on this board. Collin Morikawa going off at 17-1. Collin Morikawa was heated in the press conference today. He came in with some fire.
I didn't get a chance to watch it, so
it was the second question was about the whole "I don't know you anything" quotes.
Yeah, we don't need to get into the media thing.
Well, no, not that I want to get into it, but it was just you could tell that he'd been thinking about it, and he brought like a fire to that entire press conference. So I asked him about just his play since the 23 Zozo and playing as good as you could play without winning a tournament. And just, do you feel like there's a burden there? Do you feel like you're due? And I think he had a great answer about just, like, I'm playing great golf. I just have to get the right breaks, and you just keep trusting that process. You're not going to give up. And I did ask him, has anyone, have you played here for 6 years? This will be your 6th time playing. Does anyone ever ask you for advice? You played pretty well here. And he's like, no one ever asked me for advice. And I was like, that's a shame. Like, what would you give them if someone did ask? He's like, I'm not going to say it right here. I was like, let's go.
Spicy.
All of that made me love him way more. And I loved he brought like a character to show this.
We've had him on the podcast.
He's great.
He's so confident, and that's easily the one thing that sticks out when you talk to him for an hour is that he believes in himself, and there's a reason why he's a top 5 player in the world. And for Collin this week, I think a lot of people like him, and I'm hearing rumors that the guy next to me might take him in one and done. Will see.
We'll see when we get there. But yeah, I think that's a great point. He shows up with a lot of confidence. He's first tee to green this year. I mean, I think that if it's just depends on how the course ends up playing. But I mean, it seems like the way it's setting up right now is all the things Collin Morikawa is very, very good at should suit the way the course will play this week. Yeah. And he's due. Nobody's
due.
Well, I mean, he's due. He's due. I mean, nobody's due.
Nobody's owed anything.
Nobody's due, but like
the only thing you're owed is a pimento cheese sandwich. That is it.
with potato chips on it.
Okay.
I'm really trying to make that happen.
Crunch.
Let's talk Xander Schauffele, 18-1.
Okay.
This is a guy that Jackson and I were talking about this. It's like, is he flying too far under the radar right now, or is it fair to give him some space because of the rib
He's
injury?
in a sweet spot right now. He is completely under the radar.
It's crazy, right?
For a 2-time major winner in the last year.
It's insane.
I think this week, the one thing that Xander said that really struck me was that he believes that he can win the golf tournament. Mm-hmm. And I know that he's a top player in the world, and I know that's something that he knows he can win a green jacket. But still, it's been a hard year for him. He didn't play till Bay Hill with the rib injury, and then all the way up until now. I thought the iron game was great in Tampa, and you need an iron game here this week.
Yeah, he plays great here. Historically, he's played great here all the time. And he had a couple really cool answers I liked this week, but there was one that was really good about how there's nothing better than contending in a big tournament or a major championship. Even if you don't win, he's like the thrill of coming down the stretch, everyone being in the mix, duking it out with some of the biggest names, he says brings him joy like nothing else. And I was like, man, it's just cool to hear him, not that anyone else doesn't feel that way, but to hear a guy verbalize like the thrill he gets out of something
I just think this is going to be such a good Masters. I think it's going to be a bunched up leaderboard. I don't see this being like a 2-horse race where it's like this huge separation with 2 top guys. Yeah. I see a very, very packed leaderboard where a ton of action can happen on Amen Corner, the 15th hole.
Yeah.
This will be a very, very enjoyable Masters to watch with a lot of guys with a chance to win. I say that and very well a guy could run away, but I just get the sense that it's going to be a really fantastic Masters.
2 more names I want to throw at you before we kind of spin this a little bit forward as a preview show and give you some picks. We're going to give you maybe some DFS. We're going to bring back an old tradition, DFS lineup. But the second to last name I want to talk to you about that's at the top of this board, Bryson DeChambeau going off at 19-1 on DraftKings Sportsbook. I was in that press conference today. I love this guy so much. I mean, he's just like the science, the things he's talking about, the way he thinks about the game of golf, the way he likes to be involved in testing and tech and all these things, and just his enthusiasm. However you perceive that for growth of the game and passing on to the next generation. He just delights me. I love having him around for majors. We don't see a lot of him during the year. Played well here last year. Obviously won a major last year. I think the form on Live, as far as I can tell, hasn't been, like top of the league good. Do you feel like he's sitting maybe a little bit undervalued here, given that he seems to show up big time for majors?
I don't think Bryson will ever be undervalued. And the reason why I say that is he's got so many dang fans out there, right? Bryson has fair. He's never going to not be in the spotlight because he's so relevant in the game of golf through social media, whether you watch him on Live or not. I mean, it's hard not to see Bryson every other day on socials.
Well, I'm just saying more of like, do you think him sitting at the 6th best chance to win this golf tournament?
It's fair.
You think that's fair?
Yeah, I do. He had played well last year. I mean, he really had a chance if he could control his iron games a little bit better. He was nuking iron shots last year.
This was the beginning of bull rolls, wasn't this last year, or roll bullage?
I can't remember where it started.
I think it was here. I think this is where they debuted those irons, and yeah, interesting.
I really like Bryson's chances this week, and I keep kind of going back and forth of, am I going to take a live guy or am I not? And if I am, it's probably going to be him.
I love that. Well, here's a guy that maybe should feel a little bit slighted about his position on this board. It's a guy who was runner-up last year, Ludwig Oberg, going off at 20-1. Did some big J journalism in this press conference. I asked him if he had a better plan for snack security this year, because of course last year coming off the 9th green, he got that protein bar knocked out of his hand.
That's right.
And he lost half a protein bar.
Yeah.
Many suggesting he should have just eaten it off the ground. That would have been a pretty savage move.
It would 100% have been a savage move. And talking about his overall chances. It's been an odd year. I think this was, the pre-prediction for me at the beginning of the year was I was going to take Oberg to win the Masters. I don't feel quite as good about that now, just coming off a couple of missed cuts, the Players, San Antonio. It's not that he played bad those weeks. He'd missed a couple, like one or two, just didn't make enough birdies. You got to have the offense here. You got to be able to make birdies at this golf course. So that concerns me a little bit that the birdie average may be a little bit down. And it's not like he was leading wire to wire at the, I guess it would have been the Riviera event that was moved over to Torrey Pines. Kind of came from out of nowhere and won that golf tournament. But we know how good he is. If he wins this golf tournament, it won't be a surprise to anybody. But I wouldn't say that his form and just what he's done this year gets me like terribly excited as far as what he's capable of. All that to say, with Ludwig, we know what we know what he's got. He's a 5-tool player.
Yeah, well, without a doubt. I mean, he has all the tools to win this golf tournament. But you really kind of summed it up best, I think. Is it a very interesting year, an up and down year?
Weird year. Sick on the West Coast.
Sick on the West Coast. Wipes out, probably his best start to the year. And then he comes back and wins at the same venue because of a weird situation where the Genesis had to be moved. He was coming off the knee injury last year, and this was a little bit worrisome in the press conference where he was talking a little bit about some swing changes he's working on right now.
Yes,
and so
he's got like a little bit of an open face that he's kind of dealing with. That he's trying to work on. He worked on it last week in some tough conditions, and the last thing I'll say about Ludwig is that it's important that he was in contention last year heading into the back nine.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he's got the experience and the pressure and knowing what the shots are and understanding time and score at Augusta National, I think it's important.
I think it's very important. I think it's a pretty good summer we've done there. The top 7 guys on the board, all the players that are 20-1 and shorter. And Smylie, that takes us to the second segment of our show, which I'm excited about. Before we get there, I got to talk to you about House of Atlas. So just prior to us leaving, packing up, I got my little House of Atlas box. I got my little new razors, the little under the beard shaving, very clean.
So real quick before you do the read, who would you like to see grow a beard, a manicured beard, and who would you like to see maybe do without a beard and maybe do a little shaving?
Are you talking about on the PGA Tour? Or are you talking about just in life in general?
No. Players playing in the Masters this week. I want you to put a beard on somebody.
On a Masters player.
Somebody playing this week. A professional golfer playing this week.
That's a great question.
Like somebody shows up tomorrow and they grow a beard overnight.
Oh, that's a good one.
And a good beard. I'm talking like a DJ beard.
Okay, well, let's see. Scottie has a beard. Rory, have we ever seen Rory with a beard? Rory with a beard would be kind of fun.
Okay, you know where I'm going? I'm not
Ludwig
too far.
beard.
I'm not too far off of Rory. I'm talking like a Shane Lowry full.
But he's already worn a beard.
No, but I'm talking like a Shane Lowry red beard.
Shane Lowry
I want him
beard.
to dye his beard and go like down to where it's almost like interfering with his golf swing.
I want 2 Scandinavian beards now that I think about it. I want Ludwig and Victor.
Okay.
And just show up and like Victor and like his, I forget who manufactures clothes, but like show up in like a flannel rendition of what he's wearing and like a lumberjack beard. Yeah.
And who needs a shave?
Who needs a shave? Well, who needs a shave? Many people say Scottie needs a shave.
All right. Well, Scottie might need a little shave then.
See, I'm trying to get on Scottie's program. That's why I'm saying this. Like, I'm trying to get into a world where I can bounce back and forth between the beard.
He can do both.
And he can do both. And I just want to be like Scottie.
What threw me off was the year that he won 2022.
Yes.
He was he didn't have a beard.
He didn't have a beard.
And it looked so much different.
Strange. Yeah. Well, you know what? I can't bounce back and forth like Scottie Scheffler, thanks to House of Atlas. Okay. So let me tell you a little bit about House of Atlas. They have a high performance. So this is on this razor. They have a high performance serum strip. It's got aloe, vitamin E, shea butter on it. So like it makes the shave a little bit, reduces irritation, helps prevent ingrowns. But here they tipped me off this. They got a little hot tip on this. And I'll show you, I'll send you a video or picture. There's like the serum strip on the top that flips back so you can get to this precision trim edge. And then you can do like edges or sideburns under your nose with 5 blades instead of 1. So it's like a transformer razor. I'm just blowing your mind. Like you can't even conceptualize such a thing.
Do you shave with hot water or neutral water?
Hot.
Or cold water? So you go hot.
Cold water is psychotic.
So I actually read something that said that hot water technically could have more irritation. Oh. And I'm a guy with ingrown, so like when you're talking about the ingrown
Jackson's
hairs.
saying yes.
When you have the ingrown hairs thing, they said that the more neutral the water is as far as temperature, the like less that you said the pores get open, Jax. So Jax says the pores get open, bacteria gets in, so that's why I switch to like neutral water because I get irritation on my neck from ingrown hairs and that. So
I love
there
this.
you go. Now we're just throwing in facts.
Now we're just giving you look. We gave you the information. We talked to you about the product. Now we're going to send you on a choose your own adventure because I have so many different discount codes in my inbox, and I'm just going to give you all of them. You can go try them out. I think you might get a lot of money off this. For a limited time, they were initially offering 15%. I think it might be 30% off.
Come on.
Your first order when you purchase any razor kit and the before and after set, which includes a precision shave cream and the calming aftershave, you just got to use code SMILEY at houseofatlas.com. That's HOUSEOFATLS.com with promo code SMYLIE. And you get 15, but maybe 30% off this kit and the before and after set. And here's the other thing is, I think we might also be able to get you 50% off the razor straight up when you subscribe.
Free cream.
It's just they're just giving away money. They're giving away razors. They're giving away shaving cream. House of Atlas, houseofatlas.com. Check them out. How about that? All right, Smylie. It is
44 degrees.
It's almost midnight. And it's cold. It's probably 44. It feels like it's 44 degrees.
If you stuck around this long,
please.
We ain't done yet.
We're to the part of the show that many people are looking out for. All right, we are going to give you some picks for this first major of the year, okay? And we're going to bring back something that we actually did for the first time here last year.
We did do it last year.
In the T-Bonz parking lot, except this year we're presented by the very company we use, DraftKings. We're really excited to have DraftKings on. So DraftKings, they're firing up the daily fantasy this year. I mean, they've had it going, but of course they got a special running this year for playing contests starting this week with the first major of the year. So they're giving all customers a shot to play free for a $1 million top prize with your next $10 deposit.
Boom.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to run through our daily fantasy lineup. And we're going to also give you our one and done picks at the end of this, okay? And then hopefully you can go out and play a lineup similar to ours, maybe better than ours, win some cash in the process.
It's your account, big dog.
Yeah, it's my account.
Charlie shot at $1 million.
And I can really use some help if you guys. We had
drinks down.
We had some drinks down back there. All right, so here we go. We have $50,000 to spend. Smylie has the first one and done pick this week. So Smylie, you get to draft our first DFS player.
But this isn't my one and done pick.
This is not yours. You're just helping me because I have spent all my money in my account.
Okay.
So I'll press the button for you and you tell me which way you want me to go.
Okay. I am going to go. I'm going to go. I got to talk into the mic here.
Talking to the mic, Billy.
I'm going with Shane Lowry.
Okay.
Boom.
All right. So Shane Lowry, and let's go back to the lineup here. So Shane Lowry's price is $8,800. So that's slightly above the median amount of money you have for each of these players. You got a roster of 6 players, so you're not spending a ton of money there. So I like that. That's a good start. Shane Lowry on the board. Why do you love Shane this week?
Dude, Shane Lowry to green jacket? Oh, come on. You know he's coming to T-Bonz after.
That's the analysis. Shane Lowry, green jacket, going to T-Bonz. He's playing good golf this year.
Dude, he's playing great.
Jax and I were picking up some food earlier this week, and he said to me, I got this feeling about Shane Lowry.
Why wouldn't you?
All right, green jacket, Shane Lowry. There you go. All right, that's our first pick. I'm gonna go with the next. Is
there any vetoes in this? I think we should get one veto. One veto.
It's like a hammer in TGL. I get to veto your pick. I'm gonna go with the guy at $8,300. So he's like actually right about median. Will Zalatoris. I just there's some we've talked about Will. He's played well here before. He obviously, since his best finish ever here, he's had to retool his swing, for his back. He's gone to that broomstick putter, but I just have a feeling that he's going to strike it well this week, and if the course is soft enough, it's gonna be a good week for Will Zalatoris.
Okay, coming at you hot, Patty Ice.
Patty Ice.
Are you going veto there?
Patty Ice at 8,700.
Are you mad about this?
Hey, he's been in the mix before in the last couple of years.
Yes. Are you mad about this?
Well, sell me on him a little bit. Like, why do you want to use Patty here?
I just think that he's kind of been a little underrated this year. And when we talk about players we're trying to build these things out. I mean, they're not exact. If you go Scottie, right, and then you got to find some value. I feel like right now with Cantlay and Shane, it's my 2 guys. Those are 2 players that definitely could win the Masters, and maybe just a tier below those top guys that we had talked about.
Well, I like that you're staying kind of median here because then it gives you flexibility to go get someone big and then fill out the back of the lineup, which is giving us a strong core. So I'm not going to veto that.
No veto.
Okay. No veto. So you have Lowry and Cantlay in. I have Zalatoris in. I am going to take this opportunity to buy a high-end player because I want to just throw in a horse. And I've just been telling you how much I love Collin Morikawa. He's $10,500 on DraftKings Daily Fantasy. He's going to be our horse. Now, we can add another horse, but we're going to have to bring down.
All right, so give me the total and what we have to work with.
So basically, our remaining, we have 2 players left. We have $13,700 left. And it's actually, we're beneath the kind of median price right now. It's $6,850 per player.
Okay.
So you can give me a bargain guy.
I'm gonna get Bernhard Longer and then we can go get Scottie.
That would be the most diabolical daily fantasy lineup. I love every moment of that.
Okay,
Bernhard,
I'm between
Scottie.
2 guys right now. I'm between Patrick Reed and Sepp Straka.
I like Sepp Straka.
All right, we're putting Sepp in there.
All right, so we got Sepp in here, and that means
what do you have to work with?
So Sepp was $7,600.
So
first of all, tell me a little bit about why you like Sepp this week.
Sepp he's playing fantastic this year. The metrics say that he should contend. He's made the cut both years he's played here. The ball striking, greens and regulation stat, that's the one that sticks out for me. I think he believes that he can contend in a major too.
All right, so that leaves me the last choice. And
how much you got left?
we have $6,100 left, which means that we're looking at Bubba Watson, Jose Ballester, Justin Hastings, Bernhard Longer.
Okay, we're gonna have to
do Longer for the bit.
So should we remove some players? All right, remove Cantlay.
Okay, we're taking Cantlay out.
Let's take Cantlay out.
All right, this is good. This is part of how you build a lineup. We're workshopping. All right. So now we have 7,400.
So now you pick your player. And
you're going to backfill for me?
Yes.
All right. Okay. I'm going to go down. I'm going to get Jackson. Jackson really liked the idea.
We should have put Longer in there. That would have been such a great bit. Can you imagine the shot at $1 million and Longer is the one that comes through for you?
All right. Let me ask you this. Let me workshop this to you a little bit. Do you like Patrick Reed, Adam Scott, or Maverick McNeely more?
McNeely, dude.
I think it's McNeely. I like
but
McNeely.
It's first timer. That's the thing. Dude, if you could if you were he's a top 10 player in the world.
He's cerebral beyond his years, dude.
All right, you're gonna throw Mav in there.
We're throwing Mav in there. We're throwing Mav in there.
All right, so I got 7,700 to work with.
Yeah, so we're actually kind of good money now.
All right,
what do we got?
Dude, Wyndham Clark is just staring right at me.
How much do you have?
7,700 right on the nose.
Wow, I think we should do Wyndham.
Let's just take Wyndham. Let's be done with it.
Let's take Wyndham. I kind of love this lineup. So where it shook out was Wyndham Clark at 7,700, Shane Lowry at 8,800, Maverick McNeely at 7,100, Collin Morikawa at 10,500.
This team kind of slaps.
It kind of does. Sam Straka at 7,600 and Will Zalatoris at 8,300.
I love this team.
I might be back. I might be back on my daily fantasy grind. I love it too. I think this is, I'm saving this to my photos here so I have it. I love it.
Bada bing, bada boom.
And that's what we got. So, okay, so we are not done talking DraftKings quite yet. I'm going to come back and tell you a little more about that daily fantasy contest. But now we've reached the point of the show where, Smylie, it's time to make our one and done picks for the Masters. The us suggesting players we like, that was supposed to be the vehicle, the daily fantasy lineup. That's what we're going to kind of do in the weeks going forward. But now we're just going to make one and done pick this week. You had the first pick. Who are you taking?
This is tough.
It's big. It's a big moment.
I got a lot of
start.
A lot of hard bets coming out right now. I'm between four guys. You ready to hear the four?
Please.
I'm between two buddies, Jordan and JT. Couple hard bets.
Big hard bets.
I've already taken JT, so now that he's actually been eliminated because I've taken him.
You get broken.
So now it's down to three. Between Jordan, Bryson, Bryson, and there was one other player.
Is he near the top of the leaderboard?
Yeah, it was Rory
McIlroy. So let me just, while you kind of build up to this, Rory McIlroy plus 650.
I'm not taking your
Bryson
guy, so go ahead.
Plus 1,900.
I'm not taking your guy.
Go ahead. I'm going to let you in Jordan Spieth 35 plus 3,500. So 35 to 1, 19 to 1, and 6.5 to 1 for the three guys in the mix. Who are you selecting?
I'm not taking Rory. Give me Bryson DeChambeau.
Wow. Oh, the mad scientist. Marking off heads on the range today.
Well, I'm just thinking about the majors and where I would take them. I don't want to take him at the Open. I don't want to take him at Quail because I think I'm going to take Rory at Quail if it lines up perfectly. And U.S. Open, I don't want to take him there either. So I'm going to take Bryson at the Masters. It could hit. It may not hit. Let's roll with Bryson.
Let's hope he gets that head dialed in. I'm hoping for your sake and for Bryce's sake that he gets that dialed in. I'm going to take. I mean, I've teased it all show long. It's got to be Collin Morikawa. I think he's, despite the fact that you suggest that no one can be due here, I think he's due. He's going off a 17 to 1 on DraftKings Sportsbook. I think Collin has played too good of golf for too long. And I think ultimately we're going to look back at this and be like, the Bay Hill loss was tough and it was inflammatory in the media, but it was just that one last kick in the seat of the pants. He talked about, he's like, I play my best when I show up a minute before my tee time. I'm fight or flight. I'm heightened. I'm like, I think he's in a sort of fight or flight state right now. And I think he's going to tear it up this week. And just
I love Collin this week. And if you didn't already send the message, I just didn't want to. I don't think you had a backup plan, so I wasn't going to take that from you. And so here I am with Bryson. I came into the day never even thinking about taking Bryson, but here I am. So let's see how it works.
Those are the one and done picks. Bryson DeChambeau, Collin Morikawa. We gave you the odds here on DraftKings Sportsbook for them to win outright. And then, of course, we gave you the DraftKings DFS lineup. So here's what you're going to do, all right? We need you to download the DraftKings app and use the code all caps Smylie Show, SMYLIESHOW, to play free for a shot at a $1 million top prize with just a $10 deposit. That's code Smylie Show for all DraftKings customers. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. 18 and over in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. New customers only. Minimum $10 deposit required. One single-use $10 ticket rewarded for Fantasy Golf Millionaire Contest that expires on April 10th at 7 a.m. See terms at DraftKings.com/promotions.
All right, Smylie, we've given out some picks. We know who we like for the Masters. It's super, super cold in this parking lot. I think we might have pneumonia.
You want something to warm up your bones?
I could really use something to warm up.
Maybe
my bones.
something to warm up your T-Bonz?
Yeah, it's. I would love to see my T-Bonz warmed up a little bit.
Well. What do we have here? What do we? That's the Tommy fries.
Tommy fries. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Or the lobster on the baked potato.
All right, so y'all got this 8-ounce filet Oscar with 2 asparagus spears, lump crab meat, béarnaise sauce with a loaded mashed potato. It's our signature appetizer, the Tommy fry right here. And then that's a 22-ounce certified Angus beef porterhouse with a 6-ounce cold water lobster tail.
Does it get, ladies and gentlemen, does it get any better than this? This is the type of service and delicious food you get at T-Bonz in Augusta, Georgia.
Thank you.
We appreciate y'all. Y'all to come eat here. We're going to shut the show down, and we're going to enjoy this good food here. And big thanks again to the good people at T-Bonz for hosting us. Year 2 in Augusta, Georgia.
I am buttered up for the 2025 Masters. Let's go, baby.
Let's dig in. Talk to y'all soon.
You know, I listen to this podcast. It's really cool. And
all of our local fans and subscribers, but make sure you like and subscribe.
It's cool to see what you guys are doing. I know golf fans appreciate it, but we do too, so please keep it up.
For all the good people at YouTube, like and subscribe.
You guys have some good takes, so I'm happy to come on and shoot the